There is a version of you that is already dead, not in body, in becoming. He died somewhere between the alarm you silenced and the promise you broke to yourself. She died in the space between I'll start Monday and the Monday that never came. And if you're honest tonight, if you strip away the noise and the excuses and the noise you built to hide from yourself, you already know it. You felt it. That quiet ache at 2 a.m. when the world is asleep and your mind refuses to be. That's not insomnia. That's your potential knocking on the door of a house you stopped answering. Let's stop pretending. Let's stop dressing up comfort as peace, because most people are not lazy. Hear me? Most people are not lazy. Most people are simply undisciplined. And there is a difference the size of an ocean between the two. Laziness is the absence of desire. Undisciplined is the presence of desire with no structure to carry it. You want the body, you want the business, you want the peace, the freedom, the respect, the life that doesn't flinch when you look in the mirror. You want it so badly it keeps you up at night. But wanting was never the missing ingredient. Discipline was. So today, I am not going to motivate you. Motivation is a match. It flares, it excites, and then the wind of Tuesday morning blows it out. Today, I want to build something sturdier in you. I want to build a fire that doesn't need applause to keep burning. That fire has a name. It is called discipline. And discipline, my friend, is the bridge between who you are and who you are capable of becoming. Let that sink in, a bridge. Because on one side of the canyon stands the person you are right now, tired, doubting, maybe a little bruised by your own broken promises. And on the other side stands the person you were born to be, steady, respected, whole, free. Between them is a canyon of excuses, deep and dark and lined with every reason you've ever given yourself for staying where you are. And no amount of hoping will get you across that canyon. No amount of wishing will build that bridge. Only discipline lays the planks, one at a time, one decision at a time, until one day you look back and realize you're standing on solid ground you built with your own 2 hands. Now, I need you to hear this next part, because it might sting a little, and the truth usually does before it heals. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Say that back to yourself. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Not the job, not the body, not the bank account, not the relationship, not the silence in the house or the noise in your head. You can pray for a different harvest, but if you keep planting the same seeds in the same soil with the same neglect, you will keep reaping the same disappointing crop, season after season, year after year, decade after decade, until one day you wake up 60 years old wondering where the time went, wondering why the dream got smaller and smaller until it fit inside a drawer you never opened again. I don't say this to hurt you. I say this because somebody needs to say it to you the way nobody said it to me soon enough. Regret is the heaviest weight a human being will ever carry. Not failure, regret. Failure at least teaches you something on the way down. Regret just sits on your chest at night whispering, you could have. You could have started the business. You could have written the book. You could have gotten in shape before it became too late. You could have said the words, made the call, taken the leap. And the tragedy isn't that life said no to you. The tragedy is that you never had the discipline to give life the chance to say yes. But here, and I need you to lean in for this, here is where the hope begins. You are not your past decisions. You are not the sum of every broken New Year's resolution, every gym membership gathering dust, every dream you shelved because the timing wasn't right. The timing is never right. The timing was never meant to be right. Discipline was never designed for perfect conditions. It was designed for the storm. Think about that for a moment. Nobody builds character on a calm sea. Character is built in the storm when the wind is against you and the waves are high and everything in your body is screaming, turn back. The sailor who only knows calm water never becomes a sailor at all. He becomes a passenger waiting for luck. But you were not made to be a passenger in your own life. You were made to take the wheel, especially when the storm is loudest, especially when quitting would be so much easier and nobody would blame you for it. So let the storm come. Let the doubt come. Let the tired mornings and the friends who don't understand and the voice in your head that sounds suspiciously like every person who ever doubted you, let it all come. Because on the other side of that storm is a version of you that cannot be shaken. Not because life got easier, because you got stronger. And that strength has a name too. It's called discipline. And it is the only currency that guarantees a return if you're willing to keep spending it long after the excitement wears off. Here's what nobody tells you about success. It is never one dramatic leap. It is never one heroic cinematic moment where the music swells and everything changes forever. That's the lie the highlight reels sell you. Real transformation is built the way a wall is built. One brick laid by a tired hand, laid again the next day by that same tired hand, laid again on the day it doesn't feel like it matters. One brick does not look like much. It doesn't look like a wall. It doesn't look like protection from the storm. But stack enough bricks day after day, and one day you look up and there stands a fortress nobody can knock down. Not critics, not circumstances, not even your own worst days. That fortress is discipline made visible. And discipline is not glamorous. Let's be honest about that too. Discipline is not the highlight reel. Discipline is the rep nobody claps for. It's the invoice you send when you don't feel like working. It's the 10 extra minutes on the treadmill when your legs are begging you to stop. It's the page you write when the inspiration left the building hours ago. It's answering with grace when you wanted to explode, choosing communication over ego, choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. Discipline is quiet. It doesn't ask for an audience. It only asks for your consistency day after day in the dark when no one is watching and no one would ever know if you skipped it. But you would know. And that right there, that is where self-respect is born. Not in the moments people are watching, in the moments they're not. Every time you keep the promise you made to yourself when it would have been so easy to break it, you make a deposit into an account that pays out for the rest of your life. Call it self-trust. Call it integrity. Call it the quiet confidence that walks into a room before you even open your mouth. It is built one kept promise at a time, and it is destroyed the same way, one broken promise at a time. So ask yourself tonight, what small promise have you been breaking to yourself on repeat for far too long? Maybe it's the promise to move your body. Maybe it's the promise to protect your mornings instead of surrendering them to your phone. Maybe it's the promise to speak up, to have the hard conversation, to stop shrinking yourself, to keep the peace with people who never once shrank themselves for you. Whatever it is, name it. Because you cannot discipline what you refuse to name, and you cannot outrun a problem you're too afraid to look in the eye. Let me give you something to hold on to, something simple enough to carry into tomorrow morning. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want right now. Say it again. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want right now, not what feels good in the next 5 minutes and what serves the next 5 years. The comfortable choice and the correct choice are rarely holding hands. Most of the time, they're standing on opposite ends of the room, and every single day, you get to decide which one you walk toward. That decision repeated enough times becomes a habit. That habit repeated enough times becomes an identity. An identity is the soil every future harvest grows from. Speaking of harvest, think of your life like a field, because that is exactly what it is. Every action you take today is a seed. Every excuse you make is also a seed, a weed seed, and weeds grow just as reliably as wheat. Sometimes faster, because neglect is fertile ground for exactly the wrong thing. You don't get to choose whether you're planting. You are always planting, whether you mean to or not, whether you're paying attention or not. The only choice you actually have is what you plant and how faithfully you tend it. Some of you have been planting seeds of discipline for years and haven't seen the harvest yet, and I want to speak directly to you for a moment. The harvest is coming. It is always further along than it looks from where the farmer is standing. Don't you dare plow under a field that is one season away from feeding you for the rest of your life. And for those of you who haven't started planting yet, today is the day. Not Monday, not the first of the month, not after the perfect plan reveals itself, because it won't. Not fully, not ever. You'll figure out the path by walking it the same way every person you admire figured out theirs. One uncertain, disciplined step at a time, long before they had it all worked out. So let's talk about action. Real, practical, put it into your hands today action. Because a speech without action is just noise, and I refuse to leave you with noise. Start with your morning. Whatever time you wake up, give yourself 10 disciplined minutes before you give the world access to your attention. No phone, no scrolling through other people's highlight reels while your own life waits in the other room. 10 minutes of stillness or movement or writing down exactly what today requires of you. That's not a productivity hack. That's a declaration. It tells your mind, before anyone else gets to tell it anything, that you are the one steering this day. Then, pick one thing, one single discipline, and commit to it for the next 30 days. Not because 30 days is magic, but because 30 days is long enough to feel uncomfortable and long enough to prove to yourself that you can outlast discomfort. Move your body, even if it's just a walk around the block when your legs feel like lead. Read 10 pages of something that makes you sharper instead of numb. Put the phone in another room for 1 hour a day and let your mind remember what boredom used to teach you before you drowned it out. Speak one honest sentence to someone you've been avoiding. Small, doable, repeatable. That's the whole secret. Not intensity, repeatability. And when you fail, and you will because you are human, not a machine, do not let one broken day become a broken week. A river doesn't stop flowing because it hits a rock. It bends around it and keeps moving toward the sea. You are allowed to bend. You are not allowed to stop. Missing one day is an accident. Missing two is the beginning of a new unwanted habit. So if you fall today, get back up tomorrow morning and lay the next brick. That's it. That's the whole strategy. Fall, rise, brick, repeat until repetition becomes identity and identity becomes destiny. I want you to understand something about mountains too, because your dream, the real one, the one you've been circling for years, it looks like a mountain from where you're standing. Impossibly tall, impossibly far. And you keep waiting to feel ready to climb it, but readiness is a myth mountains don't care about. Nobody feels ready at the base of a mountain. They just start walking. And the summit is never reached in one stride. It's reached one foothold at a time by someone who refused to stare at the whole mountain and instead disciplined their eyes to focus only on the next step in front of them. Stop measuring your progress against the summit. Measure it against yesterday's version of you. That is the only comparison that will ever serve you. Now let's talk about fire, because discipline needs fuel and the fuel is purpose. Discipline without purpose burns out fast, like kindling with no logs behind it. Bright, impressive, gone by morning. But discipline connected to a reason that matters to you, a reason bigger than convenience, that fire can burn for years. So ask yourself the question, underneath the question, why do you actually want this? Not the surface answer, the real one, the one that makes your chest tighten a little when you say it honestly. Hold on to that reason. Write it somewhere. You'll see it on the mornings your motivation has already left the building, because motivation will leave repeatedly. And on those mornings, it won't be motivation that gets you moving. It will be the discipline you built on the days you didn't feel like it. Here's a truth I need you to carry with you long after this video ends. Successful people are not more talented than you. In most cases, they are not smarter than you. What they actually have, underneath the story everyone tells about luck and talent, is a willingness to do consistently what others only do occasionally. That's the entire gap. Not genius, consistency. Anyone telling you it's more complicated than that is usually trying to sell you something. It's simple. It is not easy, but it is simple, and simple things done daily become unstoppable over time. So I'm going to ask you to make a decision right now before this video ends, before life gets loud again and gives you 6 reasons to postpone it. Decide today that you are done negotiating with your own excuses. Decide that comfort was never actually keeping you safe. It was keeping you small. Decide that the version of you who has the discipline, the body, the business, the peace, the respect, that version is not a fantasy. He is patiently waiting on the other side of 1,000 small choices you haven't made yet. She is not asking for perfection. She is asking for your consistency, starting tomorrow morning, starting with the smallest disciplined act you can commit to and actually keep. You do not need more information. You have known what to do for a long time. What you needed was the decision, the one you're making right now, in this moment, whether you say it out loud or just feel it settle quietly into your chest. Let it settle. Let it become the new floor you stand on. Because here is the final truth, the one I want echoing in your mind long after this video is over. Discipline is the highest form of self-love, not the candles, not the days off. Discipline, choosing again and again to become someone your future self will thank you for. That is love in its most demanding and most rewarding form. Everything else is just decoration. So go, lay your brick today, plant your seed today, take your one step up the mountain today. Not because it will be easy, it won't, but because on the other side of that discipline stands a version of you who finally gets to stop wondering what could have been. The bridge is built one plank at a time. Start laying yours today.